What's up, guys? I'm gonna show you guys really quick how to put this video together, um, just in case you guys want to learn. Anyway, the important thing is that all of you guys should have by now received this email from me. Let me just show you here. Uh, and if you haven't, let me know. Basically, this email right here shows the project. This right here is a project from Adobe Premiere. All right, so then all you do is just download the project, and then here or in this link right here are the actual project clips. So what you got to do is you got to download all of this, okay? Because basically what that is the project files for all the lower thirds and things like that. So anyhow, once you get that, basically what you want to do is put that in a folder, similar to what I have right here. Let's see, here's footage, and I have them right here like this. All right, so that's how they should look like. So create a folder, call it this, and then all your information should be right there. All right. Then the project, once you download it, find it, just put it wherever you want. But I have it here, for example, and there's that project. Okay. Then you click on that, you open the project. Again, you got to make sure that you have Adobe Premiere Pro installed. I think this is the latest version, so just make sure that you update that to the latest version. Once you open it up, it's probably going to tell you like, oh, we can't find your footage or whatever. So then you have to just make sure that you locate the files accordingly, right? So then all of these have a place of where they live. So you got to make sure that you link it, just find them. And the easiest thing to do is just find the specific footage, or you should be able to see it in the front page once you log in. But anyway, all this is basically the stuff that lives here in this folder. Let's see, go here, footage, and it would be that, right? So for example, this right there, the ETO green background is this one. So you just have to locate that, click that, and then link it, and you should be good to go. All right. Anyway, so now that I'm here in this file, I'm going to show you how I put together Samara's preview for today. So I'm going to create a new bin. I'm going to call that Samara. And what I like to do is just start working from the original project, okay? This Wipe Lower Thirds project. And then you're just gonna do save as a little bit later. So then you import the footage. I already have the footage from Samara right here. So I bring it all in. And then I create a new sequence. And I call that Samara Week 5 Preview. All right. Click OK. I had the settings on 720p. Some of you may not notice that, but just make sure that when you do a brand new setting, sequence, I mean, you have all of these options right here. So I like to use this 720 30p. That's the most common one that I like to use, okay? All right, so that being said, I drag in all her videos right here. And it says here, the clip does not match the sequence settings. Change the sequence to match the clip settings. And then just click on keep existing settings because this timeline is 720p. This video happens to be 1080p, right? So what we want to do is we want to resize it so that way, see, because you want to make sure that it fits right there. 67% on the 1080p typically is what happens with 720p. So you want to resize that to make sure that it fits nice and smooth right there, okay? And then you do the same with the other ones, right? And I'll explain to you in a second why that's important. So again, 67%, you can just tap that right there too. You drop that one in there as well. Same thing, you select that, click 67. You're not gonna see any changes because the timeline was on on this clip, not on this one. All right, so this particular clip, it looks like might be a little larger than the other one because it was the way that she probably recorded this. So then what that means is that we got to make sure that, yeah, we got to make this one and this one a little bit bigger. So that way they kind of look like they're, there you go. So now if you do this, they'll be around the same size. So I'll try to make this work. It's kind of weird because typically these, even the lighting's off a little bit, but anyhow, this is not a color, a tutorial for that. I can copy, right click here on this clip because I already adjusted this, and then select this, right click. Obviously it's not, there you go. Paste attributes. That's gonna allow me to paste basically or all the attributes from that. So now the videos are gonna be similar size. I just have to tweak this one just a little bit so it can be. Either way, I'm gonna put like a couple of wipes or other things in there in between, so that way they can. All right, there's gonna be wipes to separate these, so not to worry. And then let's look at the last one. I don't know what the last one looks like. So it's probably similar to this first one. So I'm gonna just copy these attributes and see what it does. That one's a little bit different too. So maybe it was this one. So let's copy these attributes and see what happens there. All right, so we have to tweak these a little bit, okay? Not to worry though. We'll make sure that it works. Okay, so they're all, she's aligned pretty much about the same, around the same place in all of them. Okay, that's kind of like the most important thing. All right. So anyway, once we have that, then the next thing we got to do is let's go to these right here, projects or sequences or timelines, however we want to call them. So no, the project is the overall project itself. These are sequences or timelines, okay? These right here. And here in this first one, wipe lower thirds, basically, I have an example of all the different graphics that we can use, right? So team matchup. So you can update those right there. There's the final scores right there. Liga MX final score. So this one actually was Copa MX final score. Yeah, so it's Copa MX, Liga MX, single name lower third, name with title right here. So this is the one that I want to graph. All right, so then what I'll do is I'll grab everything here, and then I hit Control C or copy, right? And then I take it over here to Samaras. And then I gotta click this right here, so that way when I paste it over, here's what's gonna happen. Boom, it just lands on top of her right here, versus if I didn't do that, it would do this. See? And then it covers your, it deletes the video, her video, so you don't want to do that. All right, so again, click here, then Control V, and boom. All right, now obviously that's not her name, so what we gotta make sure is that we get her name. This particular video has obviously a couple of different, or this timeline I should say, has a couple of different layers. And if you click on these right here, it allows you to remove that particular thing right there, right? So here you can see that it's Twitter. So we don't want her Twitter. And here we have Leo's names, right? So what we do here is we just select this T, click right here, and then you just change her name to Samara Perez, right? She's still an ETO contributor. And then here you put her username or whatever she wants to go by there. In this particular case, we're using her Instagram. All right, so now that's set. So there you go. Okay, so that's one. And then what we can do here is we can remove this little pause that she has. Bring this closer. All right, so see, there's a jump cut right there. So to fix that jump cut, we go to the wipes and we look for the wipe. Where's the wipe? Wipes, there you go. So this first wipe is the one that we use when we want to go from transit from one scene to another. So same thing here. Click on this, hit Control V, and then check this out. So then this wipe basically is non-existent, right? And then it deletes or erases. It erases that jump cut. All right, so now here, what we want to do is we want to go to the lower thirds matchup, and we gotta find this right here. So this is the matchup. So then we grab all of this again, copy it, go back to her timeline, and then put Control V. All right, so she's gonna be talking about Tigres versus Chivas. All right, so obviously that's not Tigres and that's not Chivas. Oh, and the reason why this doesn't work right there is because I took that off. Which reminds me, so if I do this, what we want to do to avoid seeing this Twitter and Instagram thing together or on top of each other, I don't know if you guys can see right there. See that? What we want to do is we want to make sure that we delete the Instagram layer altogether. I mean the Twitter layer, and you can just bring that down or leave that there, however you want to do it. So now what we got to do is we got to replace all this information. So the matchup is Tigres versus Chivas. And it's not a final, so what you gotta do is put the date. Saturday, I think it's what, 8 p.m. Eastern. I can't remember the time. I'll look for it right now. So hold on a second. But you obviously want to do all this research beforehand, so that way you don't have to be like me, like how I am right now, and be wasting your valuable time. It's probably like an 8 o'clock game or something like that. Yep, 8 p.m. Eastern. So Saturday, 8 p.m. Eastern. So I would just put that right there. And then, so then that's that. And then what you want to do now is you want to replace these right here. So it's not Necaxa, it's not Chivas. So Necaxa's right there. So just right click, and then you can, where is this thing? Replace with clip. Well, for some reason it's not letting me replace it. But technically you should have been able to replace it with clip. I don't know why it's not doing that, but simple. What we do is we go back to team logos. Here's Liga MX. And then you grab Chivas, you just put it here. And then you grab Tigres. That's if I can find it. There it is. All right. So these Necaxa and Tigres, and Toluca don't work anymore. So then what we do is we put Chivas here, Tigres there. It's important that you put them to the same length as these other ones, because if not, what's going to happen is that they're going to overlap. So for example, when you do this, I'll show you why. But anyway, let's do this first. So let's select Tigres, and then we can make that smaller, Tigres. We can put that over here on the right. We kind of have an idea more or less where it goes. Let's select Chivas. Same thing, make Chivas a little bit smaller. And then we can move it to the right there. And then we can go back to Tigres here. We can make it a little bit smaller. There you go. All right, so now here's what happens. You need to do a couple of more things here. So you do this, right? But then when it exits, see how Chivas stays right there? That's because you haven't trimmed it. So you have to make sure that you trim this. Not only that, but look at how it reveals out. So there's an effect that I added called, you go to effects, and it's called wipe. And then it's called the band wipe. So you have to put these wipes right here, and they have to be just as long as those right there, okay? And you have to add it on this side too. This, unfortunately, guys, is really tedious, but if we want to do it right, this is what we have to do. All right, so that being said, here we go. So now you see that when they reveal out, so it's not just like bam, like, it comes in and out or whatever. All right, so all right, so there you go. So now we can uncheck this, trim this, bring this closer. And now that we have the wipe here, we can just click on this wipe. Remember this wipe right here? Control C. And then put the little thing right there, the little lock. Control V. And put it over. And that way you're not going to have that jump cut. So if you didn't have that, this is what will happen. There's your jump cut avoided, okay? So don't forget to put this back on though, because if not, like when you render it, it'll render without it. All right. So now we have to do the same thing. We can just grab this and then boom, and then update this. Let's just make sure that the times that I have are right. León Monterrey. So León versus Monterrey. And that's at 10 p.m. Eastern. So 10 p.m. Obviously, the logos need to be updated. Let me see if this actually allows me to change the logo there. But I am concerned that okay. I am concerned that it could potentially. Here's the bin team logos, Liga MX. I'm gonna look for Leon here. Nope, it didn't allow me to do it. So right click, replace with clip from bin. No, okay. So anyway, so what we gotta do is the same thing, unfortunately. So Leon, and then there's Monterrey. And you can just overwrite these because you're gonna have to replace them anywhere. So you can put them over Chivas, and you can put them over your other one. But just make sure that you completely overwrite them. And again, give them that trim them so that way they fit perfectly right above these the bug and everything else. Right, not over here because this is like a little animation part. It's all a bunch of little trickery that I had to do, to make sure that they stand out properly. Okay. Then we go back to our effects. Oh, it was already there. Wipe. So you put that there. Your effect is probably going to come out like a little longer because the default that you have on your settings are longer. So you just have to make sure that, when you do get it, you can trim the size of the effect too, or you can put it in the settings. In my settings, I have the effects to be 8 frames each. All right, so obviously like these still are not in place. So what we got to do here is move these. So Monterrey on this side. And obviously this needs to be smaller too. There you go. And then click on Leon right here. Make it smaller. Bring it to this side, bring it down. All right, so probably like a little smaller. There you go. So now when you play it,
top 8 spots in the standings, and it will boost their confidence. Number 2, León versus Monterrey. Las Fieras have kicked off the Clausura 2020 without Bay. The team is currently at the top of the standings with 9 points and advancing to the Copa MX quarterfinals. We will have to see if fatigue can become a factor as they have to travel to 3 different cities to play 3 matches in the span of 1 week.
all right, so that's already pretty close. I don't really think I need to trim it.
Number 3.
All right, so then what I'll do is I'll let that little wipe again here. So click on it, Control C, make sure to lock your timeline or your video layer or whatever, and then just put it there, Control V. Make sure that it's over. So all right, so just so you guys know, here's what happens when the wipe is not properly placed. See, it caught that jump because the wipe has to be placed right in the middle as it's doing that. So see, we have to make sure that we put this middle part of it right here. So now when it does the wipe, it covers it completely and it reveals to the other thing. And that's how you don't see the jump cut.
Number 3, Querétaro versus América.
All right. And then we do the same thing. Control C, copy all of this. Control V. You can select all this. You can move it like closer if you want it to start out sooner. And I'll show you how to extend it in a second. So Querétaro.
Querétaro versus América.
All right, so Querétaro versus América. That game is being played I believe Sunday. Yep, Sunday 7 p.m. So same thing here. We update this. Querétaro versus America. All right. And then we go to the bin where the logos are at. And then we find the America one. And then again, you can just overwrite it here. And then you find the Querétaro one. And then overwrite it over the León one. One of the things that you see is this black line. You guys see that black line that kind of pops up? So that allows you to snap things together. You have to make sure that you have this little magnet, because that way it snaps everything into position. So see that? You don't want it there. You want it in the next one, but boom, it'll snap it for you. If you didn't have it, it's a pain in the butt. All right. So now let's see. So then let's select the America logo, make it a little bit smaller, bring it down here and over there. It's a little bit too big. So make it about 40. All right, then go to the Querétaro one, same thing, make it smaller. And oh yeah, let's make sure that we put the time. Sorry, we had to make sure. So Sunday, 7 p.m. 7 p.m. Eastern. There you go. So now you have Querétaro versus America. The America logo, you could probably make it a little bit smaller, maybe like 37. And these sizes are not, and even the Querétaro one too. These sizes are all different. I put America 37. This one should probably be like a 33. You know, not all the sizes are created equal, okay? So just make sure that you kind of like use your judgment and you get it in more or less to the approximate size. The wipe, same thing, band wipe, just drop them at the end. And then same thing, do it at the beginning. All right, so now here we go.
Are also enjoying some success early in the Clausura 2020 and look to keep it that way when they face Club América. For their part, Las Águilas already played a midweek game as they defeated Puebla in the makeup game from the first week. Another victory would definitely calm the nerves of the América fan base. Let us know which games you're looking forward to seeing.
Okay, so the only thing that sucks about this, because these lower thirds are not long enough. So these bad boys, these green things, are these down here. And if I wanted to extend throughout the entire part, all these right here are fine because I can extend these, right? The problem is that these down here are not the same. So what you gotta do is you gotta extend those a little bit, and see, they end right there, right? So if you wanted to make this that long, again, the top part is fine, and we can extend this all the way to the end. You got to make sure that they're not like right there at the same place, because see how they end after? So you have to move this like 8 frames after the fact or something like that. So that way they all kind of like, finish. All right, so, and again, the concern is this, that these clips are not that long. So this reveal that you see right there, unfortunately happens right here. So then what you got to do is something that sucks, but this is the only way around it. So you have to like Control C after you did basically everything else that I did right here, and just do this, right? But then make sure that you don't do this. You have to make sure that you eliminate it after the wipe, right? Actually, hold on. I'm gonna do something better. Okay. So extend this one as much as you can, which is basically up to there, right? So then what you want to do is just cut this. Use the little razor tool. And then after the wipe is settled, so cut that. So cut both of these right here. And then select these two. Control C. And then just start it right there, right where that cut is. Or right behind it. So just press Control V. And then Control V again. And it's covered. It's so tedious, and unfortunately, like we don't have, the capacity to make this any smoother, but now at least you have it extended throughout the entire time. See that? But then once you have these projects according to your length, then you can just copy and paste it, accordingly. But now it's on the entire time, right? And same thing for this one. If you wanted to extend this one a little bit longer, you can by doing the same thing. Okay, so America. Okay, so then what we can do is we can do this, I believe. No. So we can do this to there, and then we can bring this over here. Like I said, just make sure that it's 8 seconds after, or frames, not seconds, 7, 8 is fine. And then you can actually extend this, so it should be fine here. So that was a little bit easier than than the other one. It wasn't too crazy. And then at the end, you can grab just like a lower third, another lower third from we can just say follow us on social media or something along the lines, right? Actually, we can actually use Samaras from the very beginning. Just grab that. And then we can just go right here. And then right here, all we do is update that. You can just say, follow us on social media. And then we could just update that. That is 3 online. All right, so then that's it.
On Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at L3Online. Until next time.
All right, so then we gotta make sure that we make this thing. So we can make this one a little bit bigger, actually. Let's just grab it. Whoop, hold on. Well, first of all, let's put it where we want to start. We wanted to start right here.
If you're looking forward to seeing it this weekend, and remember to keep up with everything Mexican.
So let's just make sure that we go. And then we can just grab this one. And we can extend this one a little bit. and then we can extend this one over here.
Follow us on
All right, but this Instagram,
weekend at M3 Online.
the Instagram actually didn't have the little wipe, so we got to make sure that we put the wipe on Instagram as well. Okay, and also this kind of sucks because this one comes out really late, so I messed that up here. So what we want to do is we can put these right here. There you go. So we'll move it 7 frames. Yeah, there you go. And then we have to go back here and then do this. Again, I know it's tedious, but that's kind of like how I have it set up. All right, so now, so everything's there. And actually, I just put this at the very beginning of the timeline.
Hey, Joe fans, Samara Perez here bringing.
All right, so there we go. All right, so then the next thing I want to add is a little bit of music. So we go back to the project. Well, you can just go back here. Bin. Okay, this is where it is. So Control I to import. You can just download any kind of music from YouTube. I have like a couple of tracks already in place right here, so I can just hit import, and I could just put it down here. Okay, the audio is going to be super hot, so we got to make sure that we lower it. So obviously that's drowning her out right there. So you just got to right click audio gain, and because it was so hot, just put it to like minus 25 just to see what happens.
Hey, Joe fans, Samara Perez here bringing you our top 3 picks for the must-see matches in round 5 of Liga MX.
Okay, here's something that's also super important. So we can bring that down a little bit. So it can be around 30.
Number 1.
All right, cool. So now what we gotta make sure is that all these clips for audio, you right click them, do audio channels, make sure that they're both going, that they're going both on both of the channels, okay? There you go. Because if not, what happens is that on the audio channels, if you have them the way that they were, this is how they were originally, right? They're only going on one channel. You want to make sure that when you output, they're going to both of the channels, okay? The music was already going to both of the channels, so. And if you want to see that the music is going on both, now it's lowered, okay? All right, and then what you want to do is you want to make sure the music kind of ends according, you know, to the, more or less to the same place. Oh, I think I deleted yep, I deleted the thing on accident. I was like, what the heck happened? Anyway, you go over here.
On Facebook and YouTube at M3 Online. Until next time.
All right, so that's pretty much it. Now, the other thing that you can also do is you can add videos and you can add pictures. If you want, what I would recommend you doing is all of these right here, they're all a bunch of layers. So there's 7 layers already, right? So you can move all these layers and then you can bring them up one more. Just make sure they don't go plus or minus anywhere like that, because if they do, then that's not good, obviously. You know, you don't want to do this. That defeats the purpose. Now they're all over the place. All right, so then you can just grab all these layers and then you can just raise them up one. Oh, see, I just did the same thing that I didn't want to do. There you go. Here's the reason why you want to do that if you want to put videos. So for example, let's assume that I want to throw some more videos and I want to show a video of Chivas goal from last week. Or America, or one of them. This is just as an example, okay? There's the footage. Clausura, week 4, America. I just want to show the America goal. Again, this is just an example. So then I will go to the America part. Just be careful that you're not putting it in. Yeah, there you go. So this will be the America goal. So now the reason why that's there is because the graphics. So the graphics will be under. If you didn't want to include this audio too, you can bring this audio down significantly more as well.
Blancos are also enjoying some success early in the Clausura 2020 and look to keep it that way.
But then that's what happens, right? So this graphics remain under it, and then you can just kind of like put it. You can put it to make sure that they fit or on the same duration. Just make sure that they kind of like fit under the graphic. Be careful with that, because that would have been a jump cut. So you don't want to do that. So you want to make sure that it does that. You can start that. And then this can reveal after, you know what I mean? So you, those are just depending on taste, right? But here's the reason why you do what I did. Because if you didn't do that, lifting all of these, what happens is when you put the video over it, and it defeats the entire purpose. It defeats the entire purpose of your video. So anyway, that's pretty much it. You know, I'm not gonna include any video here this time. I'm just gonna leave it as is. And then what you do is just go to File, Export, Media, and then you'll find a landing place and you output it. Make sure that you go to H.264 and then go to mobile device 720p. Call it that. Find your landing spot where you want it to go. I just put it on my desktop. Click export, and that's it. That's what I'll do. So hopefully this video helped you guys a lot. I know it's a lot of information, but that's kind of like the best way that I can describe it. I can do some more videos a little bit later, and I can show you how to post stuff on YouTube and social media as well. Okay. So again, if you guys have any questions, let me know. Thank you.